Hi everyone. So to finish off Tumbledown Cottage, I decided to make a mini version of Tumbledown Cottage to go inside. So it's as if Winnie's got her own model of Tumbledown Cottage. I did one miniature where I did that DIY miniature art studio that I did from scratch using scraps of wood, and I put a miniature in the miniature there, and I quite like that. And I think, because like a lot of people who do miniatures, they leave something in the miniature that's like a sort of nod back to them, like it's like their little sort of signature thing. So I decided that what I'm going to do is when I make a miniature, if it's one that's like a room or something, I'll put a miniature of the miniature in it. So this is me making a mini version of Tumbledown Cottage, and I made it in pretty much the exact same way as I did the big one, obviously just everything on a lot smaller scale. So I started off with a couple of boxes that I made, because this, when I made it, it was originally made out of 3 wooden boxes. No, 4, sorry, 4 wooden boxes, and then a whole bunch of cardboard and strips of wood and that sort of thing. And I made it the exact same way as this, not the exact same layout. So it's 2 boxes, one on top of each other, and then the next box is at a slight angle, like slightly off center on the next level, and then the last box is at another off center position. So instead of going up straight, it sort of has a bit of a twist to the cottage, as you can see here. And that's what I did when I did the original. I just placed the boxes in a slightly unusual arrangement because I wanted the house to have a really funny shape. Because the idea with Tumbledown Cottage is it's a witch's cottage, and she accidentally had a spell that backfired years ago, which basically has made the house magical and kind of like sentient. So basically, Winnie will wake up each morning and there'll be different rooms in the house, they'll be in different positions, the house is different shapes. Sometimes there'll be 20 rooms, sometimes there'll be 5. So I wanted to sort of show that sort of unusual shape, as if the house is partway through moving its rooms around, sort of thing. So I started off, I'm just using like little thin strips of balsa wood, by the way. That's what I'm using for all of this, and then very thick cardboard as well. So as you can see, I've stuck the first boxes in place, and then I did these strips to create the angles of the house, which I did on the original as well, and it just made it look less like a box, less like a stack of boxes on top of each other. And then once I had those in position, and I do one more on the top, and then I put the roof on, and then that's like the basic shape for the house. And then from there, it's just a case of adding the details. So as you can see, once I've got the basic shape in place, then I put some pieces of cardboard on the front just to cover up the holes where those like slopey bits are and everything. And then I started doing the cladding, and the way I do all my buildings is I do strips of cardboard because I like them to look like they're made out of wood. So I do strips of cardboard and then paint the cardboard normally to look a bit like wood. But obviously in this scale I'm not going to worry too much about the wood texture, but for this obviously I needed something that I could use in place of cardboard, because cardboard would be too thick for this scale. So I used paper, and this is just bog standard printer paper that I've cut into strips, and then I just glue it all around the outside of the house, overlapping, so it looks like the house is made out of wood panels, like wood strips. And then when I've finished like one section, I get a piece of paper and just go around the corners with it, like I did on the original one, and it just gets rid of all those little odd ends of the strips of paper. So I did that all over, and then I cut out individual roof tiles and stuck them on as well. And once it was completely done, it looks like this. And then it's a case of painting the whole thing black. You can, if you want, put a whole layer of PVA glue over the whole thing first, just to give the paper a bit of strength, but I found it was alright for what I want. It depends how sturdy you want it to be. Like, this is pretty sturdy. The paper did bend slightly with the paint, and I just had to straighten it up afterwards, so it was no big deal. It was just the edges of the roof really that bent. The rest of it was fine, so I just painted it with black acrylic paint. I was going to paint the inside of the rooms the separate colours like I've got on the big one, but I decided against that in the end and just painted the whole thing black, just to make life easier, and it just means that it's all one uniform colour, and it saves me messing around with teeny weeny brushes trying to do tiny little wall details and stuff. So I went over the whole thing. I only needed one layer of paint, and once it was complete it looked like this. And I did do a slight bit of dry brushing on there, but I didn't wait long enough for the paint to dry. So you'll see later on I do another layer of dry brushing over the top, like I did on the original full scale one. Well, I'd say full scale, the original miniature, to make that look better. But for now that was fine. And I have actually put a stand on this one. The tumbledown cottage doesn't have like a platform that it's attached to, because it stands up perfectly fine on its own. This one, it kept falling over a little bit, and even though it's going to be glued like to the house, I decided to put a little stand on just to make life easier while I was working on it. And then it was a case of making teeny weeny furniture to go inside, and I just used cardboard for this, and it's slightly thicker than normal cardboard, but not mega thick, because obviously it would look weird otherwise. And I just made basic shapes, and as you can see it was really awkward to stick them in. I did find later on my longer nosed tweezers, which helped. So I stuck with basic shapes for the furniture, and I decided not to paint the furniture because the furniture in the house is painted black. And if I paint the furniture in this black, you won't see it. So it would be a detail that's missed. So what I've done is I've just left the furniture the original colour of the card, which looks like a wood colour, so that all the details could be seen if anyone looks in the house, to see if there's anything in there. So I worked on that for a bit, and I did find that a bit fiddly and annoying. So I didn't film the whole process of making the furniture. But you'll see in a sec, in the next clip of the footage, that I'll show you how I made the chair and one of the desks. But yeah, I was finding this bit really fiddly, so I didn't film all of it. And then at this stage, as you can see, I've made like a bed, I've made the desk, I've made some little scraps of wood in the attic space like on the original. I've made downstairs, I've made a little desk and a little bookcase for the library, and for the potion room I've made a couple of desks in there as well, because in the original the bottom room is the potion room where she does all of her magic and mixing and all of her potions and things and spells. Then the next one up, the next floor up, is the library, which is where I put the desk. Then above that is the bedroom, and then above that is the bathroom and attic storage space. And on this bit I'm repairing the desk, because what I did was I took the desk out so I could put the chair in, because I'd forgot to put the chair in first. Then one of the legs of the table pinged off somewhere and I couldn't find it. So I'm just repairing the desk, making a new leg for it and everything. And then it's just a case of, as you can see, I'm just fixing that leg on there. Just a very basic desk shape, and cutting off the excess length off the new piece of card. And then it's a case of sticking that in place in the model. Luckily by now I'd found my large, like long nosed tweezers, so it made it a lot easier. stuck that into place. And then what I did as well is on the desks, I put a couple of books, and the way I did that was I used the other side of the card where you could see the blue, just cut some very teeny weeny book shapes and then stuck those onto the desk so it looked like there was a couple of books on the desk. And I did that in the library and in the potion room. And then I also did some little mini books, same shape, for the shelves in the library as well. So I just put a couple of rough book shapes on. I could probably do with painting the spines of those, but I'll do that another day maybe. Here I'm just putting a shelf and the toilet in. And the toilet, I've just made a basic seat shape and rounded off the front. I wasn't going to worry too much about trying to make it look exactly like a toilet, not at this scale. And then once I'd finished with all these little bits and bobs, that was it. And then all I did was got a little bit more white paint and just redid the dry brushing around the outside. And that was it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. And I will have the completed full-size tumble-down cottage to show you very soon. It is nearly done. I've nearly finished everything inside it and all the I'm just working on the last few details. So I'm looking forward to showing you those when it's done. And yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. And if there's anything else you'd like me to see make a tiny miniature of, let me know in the comments. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye for now.